Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for News 5 Now at 8 o'clock. It's a chilly start to the day, but overall, it's going to be a beautiful day outside. Yesterday was nice. I believe the rest of the week should be pretty good. Thursday is the start of spring. Can you believe it? It is just, the year is already flying by. I feel like we just had snow not too long ago, and now it's spring. Summer temperatures are coming. So there's that. We are keeping an eye on a number of stories for you this morning, and we'll tell you what they are in just a second.
Brought to you by Green and Phillips, covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. News 5 Now starts right now.
We are going to kick things off with our big stories this morning, starting us off with number 5. NASA and SpaceX are working to bring home the Dragon spacecraft that was sent up to bring back astronauts stuck in space since last year. The spacecraft is expected to return today and splash down in the Gulf south of Tallahassee. Here is video of the spacecraft undocking. Aboard the Dragon capsule are NASA astronauts Nick Hague, Sunita Williams, and Barry Butch Wilmore. Williams and Wilmore were expected to be gone for only a week on a test flight of a Boeing capsule, but ended up stranded on the International Space Station for 9 months. I know they are excited to be back. I would be too. And I think that would probably be one of my last times. No, I'm just kidding. But yes, they are supposed to splash down in the Gulf south of Mississippi. I don't know why I keep saying Mississippi. South of Tallahassee, Florida. That is going to be happening today. Number 4, Mobile firefighters were busier last year than in 2023. Mobile Fire Rescue released its annual report for 2024. Last year, there were more than 40,000 calls for service. That's about 2,000 calls more than in 2023. Most of them were requesting emergency rescue and medical services. Number 3, Alabama Secretary of State says the Department of Justice and several voting rights groups have dropped the lawsuit against him over plans to purge voter rolls before last November's election. The lawsuit was filed in September after Wes Allen claimed to have found registered voters in the state who were not American citizens, and he announced plans to remove them from voter rolls. The DOJ argued that the move came way too close to Election Day. Number 2. South Alabama's season has come to an end after the National Invitational Tournament rescinded an invite to the Jags men's basketball team. Jags head coach Richie Riley received a call on Sunday night from tournament officials inviting South to come play after an opening was left by UC Riverside, who had an offer to play in another tournament. Well, South Alabama accepted the offer, of course, and they informed the team of the exciting news. Then an hour later, the invite was revoked after Riverside chose to play in the bigger of the two tournaments. NIT officials have released an apology about the situation. And number 1 for us this morning, the Mobile County Commission is taking the rare step of trying to close a bar that's been the site of violence for what they say a few years now. A public hearing will be held next Monday to determine whether or not the Alabama Bar and Lounge in West Mobile County is a public safety problem. Now, if you all will remember, we talked about this story yesterday and this morning on News 5 this morning. Chad Petrie actually spoke to the bar's owner and an attorney for the Mobile County Commission. Now, the last homicide that happened at this bar was in February. So that's kind of causing some of the concerns from the citizens, concerns from the commission to say, hey, maybe we need to close this place down. But we'll see how that goes. They want your input, so make sure that you are at that meeting. I believe that's coming up on Monday. All right, we are going to head over to our question of the day, something that a lot of folks in our newsroom are talking about. What's your March Madness bracket strategy? Guys, I don't know much about basketball. So how I pick my March Madness bracket teams, mascots, team colors. If I like your team colors and I like your mascots, I'm putting you in my bracket. Now, I know in South Alabama, we have people who are split between Alabama and Auburn and everybody else. And so I would assume that you're going to put those teams on your bracket based on whichever you like the most. Like this guy, Auburn versus Alabama for the championship. Okay. Arthur says, not a chance. I'm not giving you my strategy. Move along. I'm with you, Grace Beth. She says, my man will fill it out. I have no clue how those work, but love to participate. I have no clue how they work either. I'm not even keeping up with these teams. I have no idea. But again, if you have a good mascot and I like your colors, and if your cheerleaders or band are pretty good, I'm going to assume the team's good too. So that's my strategy. What would you say? Make sure you comment on that question of the day. We are going to go over to our poll of the day, which is, are you working more than one job? Let's see what people are saying. Ashley says, no, but I work full time and I'm a student part time. Okay. I'm with you, Shelby. Shelby says, well, what if I do 5 jobs at my one job? Yeah, I think that counts. I think that counts, Shelby. I'm right with you. I am right with you. Joyce says, no, I'm retired. Well, I would have loved to be retired with you, Joyce. No. Lisa says, not counting wife, mother, housemaid, and yard girl, I've got 3 paying gigs. Woo, working woman. For 40 years. Okay. So we hope that you all will join in on these questions and polls of the day. All you have to do is head over to our Facebook page and make sure you are liking and subscribing to that. And then make sure that you are commenting on the polls and questions, and we'll share your responses right here on News 5 Now. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. We will see you all tomorrow at 4:30, bright and early, or dark and early, as we like to say, 4:30 to 7 a.m. for News 5 this morning. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you later.
Covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. You are watching News 5 Now, brought to you by Green & Phillips.